Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel, TammyTalks here. Alright y'all, let's talk. Where are they now? Married at First Sight Season 15. This is San Diego. If you are new to my channel, I do breakdowns on various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoy that type of content, please consider hitting that subscribe button, thumbsing up the video if you enjoy it, and then hop into the comment section, y'all, so we can talk about everything that happened on the Where Are They Now, because in this recap, I'm not going over every single scene, because it was a lot of mini unnecessary scenes, all right? So, Where Are They Now takes place 5 months after Decision Day, roughly 2.5 weeks after the reunion. So we start off with Miguel and Lindy. They are retaking their wedding pictures because Lindy feels that they are more in love now. They're more comfortable with each other. I think the pictures still looked very stiff. The pictures still lacked chemistry. Miguel seemed very underwhelmed, he just didn't seem like he was as into it nearly as much as Lindy was. So they sit down to talk afterwards, and Lindy wants them to think about looking at a house. So she wants to have a conversation so they can find out what their price range is. Miguel looks like he don't want to. Lindy feels that, she moved into Miguel's apartment, but she feels that his space is too small for the two of them. And he does agree. So she wants them to each have their own space within the house, which is very important for you to each be able to go to your respective corners, respective rooms, and decompress, have some time apart if you need it. So Lindy wants them to put down roots. Miguel is looking like, we ain't gonna be married that long, so I don't need to put down roots or buy a house with you. That's the vibe I was getting. Miguel said he doesn't feel like it's a necessity, and then tells Lindy, why don't you go ahead and take the lead? So he doesn't want them to get ahead of themselves. That's foreshadowing, okay? Because I just kind of feel like if y'all are in love and you guys are married, you're not going to say, yeah, go ahead and look for a house. I don't think we need one. I admit we are cramped in this space, but we don't need a house though. Let's just stay cramped until, you leave when we separate and get divorced. It was a very cringy scene, and it just kind of shows that Lindy is more into Miguel than Miguel is into her, which we've seen the entire season. So we get to Alexis and Kristen. They are meeting up for drinks and lunch. Kristen says that it feels good to be single, or to say that, she's now single. Alexis thinks it's weird. Okay, Alexis says she just wants to pause for a moment, take a step back, because she did just get out of a breakup. I think it's kind of weird how many of them are moving on right away. It's been 5 months. It has been 5 months, aside from Ben and Morgan, who never got started. But I do think it's weird that Kristen wants to start dating right away. Kristen wants to get married and start a family. She don't care who it's with. She just wants to get married and have a family right away. So Alexis said that she got a DM from a psychic that's telling her that they can read her and her love life and all this other stuff. Kristen is reading all the DMs that she's gotten from people. Kristen, she seems to love all the attention. We saw Kristen fishing for attention all throughout this season. So I'm not even the least bit surprised that Kristen is excited about the different DMs that she's getting. So Kristen said that she's going to give she did give Mitch the benefit of the doubt throughout the entire season. She thought that when she first met him, he was this cool, laid back surfer guy, and he was anything but, okay? Anything but. So she said that because of what she went through with Mitch, her guard is back up, so she's nervous about getting back into the dating world, but she does want to do it. She has not spoken to Mitch since the reunion. She says she has no desire to talk or hang out with him. Lies and fallacies, okay? So Alexis said that Justin has contacted her and thanked her for once again regulating his emotions during the reunion. Justin got all hot in the puss about everything that was going on with him and Nate. Justin came in very vengeful during that reunion, okay? Y'all can say that Justin was justified. He wasn't. You never let nobody see you sweat like that. And Justin broke the first cardinal rule. So Alexis said that they're not friends. She has no desire to be, because while this was like their first time kind of seeing that of Justin, she said that while Justin has this crying side, he also goes to the other end of the spectrum where it's rage. And she said that she has seen both of them. So she wasn't surprised in the least bit. Kristen is going to be moving to New York for work. We found that out during the reunion. She got a new promotion. So since her birthday is coming up, she wants to have a last big shebang bang getting everybody together. I will say this. Their come together was not as good as the past two. Right? I feel like with the past two, even without everybody showing up, theirs was just kind of, it just kind of shows how this particular season, these people weren't as close of friends as the past two seasons. That's the vibe that I got from it. So Kristen wants to get everybody together. Alexis is worried about inviting everyone, aka Justin. Kristen thinks that it would be worse to not invite everybody than to invite everybody. I said, yeah, the way that man blew off and was unfollowing and following and unfollowing y'all, invite his ass, okay? If he wants to come, let him come. If he doesn't have to. We move over to Stasha. Stasha's in her White House. I said, okay, new hair color. It didn't really, maybe she just got it freshly done, but it needs to be toned down a little bit. So her mother comes over and her mom asks her if she's going to have a get together at her house. And Stasha looked like, in whose house? Absolutely not. Stasha has like white carpet, right? Ain't nobody going, she ain't having no parties. She ain't having no parties at her house. So she was like, to invite who? That means ain't nan one of these castmates coming up in my house either. So her mother was like, you know, your sister, your brother, Nate, you know, your husband, you know, there are a lot of people that you can invite actually. And Stasha goes on to say, well, Nate isn't here. I said, a solo scene. So she mentions that she got her hair done, changed her hair color. She said that when people make drastic changes to their hair, it's because they're going through something. That is true. When women make more, not always, before somebody comes in the comments, a good part of time, a majority of time, I'll say that, when you see a woman make a very drastic change in her hair, people do say, oh, she must be going through something. But that does not mean putting highlights in your hair, Sasha. Okay? Now, had you shaved your hair all off, then maybe we would feel that way. But nobody thought that you were going through anything because you got some highlights in your hair. So, nonetheless, she said that her and Nate were having some issues. She asked Nate for a separation and then was like, or maybe a divorce. Her mother said, okay, now what is it? Is it a separation, which means that we can work on it? Or is it a divorce, which means I'm done? Those are two different things. Thank you, Mama Sasha, for having the common sense that your daughter doesn't have. So, Sasha said that she came into this experiment for an accelerated pace for a reason. So she feels that if you're going to come into it, you shouldn't come in with this guise of, I want to take it slow. I agree with that. Sasha came in with the impression that I want to come in, I want to go all in, I want to give it my go, I want to do everything at an accelerated pace. Nate came in and has wanted to take it slow, day by day, moment by moment, this entire process. So while we are saying that, while we've been saying the entire season, Stasha's pushing him and doing too much, Stasha came in with the right idea though. This is how you are supposed to tackle Married at First Sight. Nate, who I think is extremely emotionally intelligent, is not ready for marriage though. Nate needs to be in a relationship where he can go at the pace that he's comfortable with, where it's not so much pressure. You know what I mean, on him. And then they can together talk about the right timeline for marriage. This is not the process for somebody like Nate, who wants to take things slow. So her mother told her that, Stasha, your pace is different than other people's pace. Stasha said, that's fine. I get that. But do I anchor myself down? Do I hold myself back because I need to slow all the way down for somebody else? Another very good point. Stasha makes great points, but it's the way that her delivery is that makes them seem kind of condescending and makes it seem like she's going rawr all the time at people. But Stasha absolutely is making sense with everything that she's saying. So she tells her mother that she has scaled back already. She is anchoring herself down already. She says she moved into Nate's place because he wasn't comfortable here. So she gave up this house that she just had built and moved into his studio apartment until they got into an argument, I guess, right after the reunion, and he asked her to leave because he needed space. Again, Nate is not ready for marriage. Nate just needs to be in a relationship. So her mother was like, well, Nate called me and said that he loves you and he feels hopeless without you. And her mother said, I just kind of told him, talk to her, fight for her. Stasha looks kind of happy, but not really. I don't think Stasha want to be married to Nate because Nate is not moving at the pace that Stasha wants to move at. So while we're giving her all this hell, Stasha's not wrong. I think far too many people come into Married at First Sight and then literally want to take everything super slow. That's not the point of this experience. So then you have Mitch and Justin. Justin has Maya back. Congrats to Maya. So they are cleaning up the park. Don't ask me to hang out and we gonna go pick up trash. I'm sorry. That's volunteer work. That's just... I know this is coming out wrong, but if one of my friends calls me and said, hey, let's go hang out and pick up trash, I don't know. I should probably edit that part out. It's not that I litter, but that's just not my idea of fun. You know what I mean? But somebody has to do it, okay? So Mitch is saying that he has moved in with a friend that lives down the street with him to save money. So you want to go filth up somebody else's living quarters? Did you move in with that girl that you were COVID buddies with? That you were in the pandemic bubble? Is that the girl? Is that who you moved in with? What's the friend's name, Mitch? Nonetheless, he said he has asked a few girls out and they did not say yes. Of course they didn't. Heavens, of course they didn't, Mitch. Of course they didn't. You should not be shocked. You shouldn't be shocked at all. I'm certainly not shocked. Justin said that he has not talked to Alexis. He said that he has moved on. Justin's mad that when Alexis went on to the after show with Keisha Naipulium, that when Keisha asked if they had consummated, Alexis said they tried, but it did not manifest. Now, the fact that it did not manifest for a lot of people, myself included, took that to mean that Justin could not get it up, right? But that's not always what it means. It means that we might have got there and then the thrill was gone. There's a lot of different ways to take that. Justin, however, is taking that to mean that probably the way Alexis intended it, is that Justin could not get it up. He's upset about that. He said that Alexis is disrespectful and she's inappropriate. And she is. Alexis has been very disrespectful and inappropriate the entire season. She just has not said it to Justin's face. So the fact that Justin is now seeing it, it took him very off guard. For us watching it, when we have seen every episode with her say stuff, it was kind of normal for us. But I guess my thing is, Justin, she's been yelling that you're celibate the entire season. She yelled out that you were celibate at the reception. You should have known that she was disrespectful and inappropriate then. That should have been your first clue. So he said he's not in a good headspace and he's hanging on by a thread. Now, I'm not going to put that all on Alexis like I know a lot of you want to. That's not all on Alexis. That's actually not. Because Justin went into that reunion and acted a fool all on himself. all on his own. Y'all were in my comments saying, oh, well, she may have talked him up and told him to go defend her. Stop the cap, y'all, okay? Everything that Justin does is not Alexis's fault. Justin chose to go in and have that fight with Nate. Justin chose to go in and call Kristen fake. Justin chose to go in and do all this stuff, the following, the unfollowing. That's all on Justin. Justin put himself into a bad headspace. So they then talk about how Justin said that he wants to apologize to Mitch for having to see that side of him at the reunion. He said he's not apologizing to Nate. So Mitch was like, so do you really think he made a pass at you? Justin said, yeah, 100%. I do. So Mitch was like, okay, but you're saying that's how you interpreted it. So is it really like, and like Mitch is like what a lot of people were saying, is did he really make a pass at you? Or did you just want to have a reason to be mad at him because you're mad at everybody else? So Justin said, was like, well, we can agree to disagree. Mitch was like, cool, because you ain't going to be calling me a bald-headed whatever coming up soon. So they talk about Kristen's party. And Justin says he's excited to see Mitch, Ben, and Miguel. That's it. I said, oh. You can call in and hang out with him. You ain't got to go to the party. So Justin said he wants to apologize to everyone, but he's not going to apologize to Nate. But then he was like, but if I see him and we talk, but if we don't, we don't. But I do want to be a grown man about this, but I don't want to apologize because, he really did come on to me. But and it's like, Justin, babe, what are we doing? What is going on here? What is going on here? Justin made absolutely zero sense in that scene and in that confessional. Absolutely zero sense. So we then get a scene with Nate and Kristen. Kristen goes over to Nate's apartment in one of the most random scenes ever. He offers her orange juice. If I come by your house after 10 a.m., don't offer me no orange juice unless it has champagne in it. So she tells him that she talked to Stasha and she found out that they aren't doing that great, so she wanted to check on him. Nate said that, we're still wearing our rings, so we're just going through a rough patch. He said that he gets triggered when Stasha asks him to go deep. He has an issue with being vulnerable. He doesn't want to feel like somebody is making him open up. And it's like, okay. Again, these are all things that if you're not able to be vulnerable, you're not able to open up, like that shouldn't trigger you in a marriage. And yes, I get that this marriage is everything is super, super accelerated. But again, that's what you signed up for. And that's why I say Nate is extremely emotionally intelligent, but he's just not ready for marriage. So Kristen tells him that you need to go see her because Nate is saying how he feels hopeless and lost. And when Stasha left, she didn't have any emotion on her face. He's scared to go see her because he doesn't want to get rejected. And Kristen tells him, you have to go fight for your marriage. We get a scene with Miguel and Lindy. They're looking for houses. The entire time, Miguel kept saying, this is pushing me outside of my financial comfort zone. We need to make sure we're financially ready. We need to be focused more on the money. We need to. And y'all know what that told me? That Miguel is saying, Lindy, get off your lazy ass and carry your ass back to work. Go to work full time. Because Miguel does not want to pay for this house himself. And he got to carry you on the insurance. That's what I got from the conversation. Miguel is definitely telling Lindy, look, my one income, I'm not paying for this house myself. So Miguel then would say, I'm concerned about the maintenance. He said a house is a lot of responsibility. If something breaks, you have to fix it. You know what I mean? If you want to do renovations, you have to pay for that. If you want to do upgrades, upgrade your kitchen or something like that, upgrade the floors, that's something that you have to pay for. So he keeps talking about finances, aka Lindy, carry your ass back to work full time. We need another full-time income coming into this house before we buy one. Or into this apartment, I should say, before we buy a house. So then we have Stasha and Nate. Nate goes over to Stasha's house. She thinks it's a little weird for her because they haven't seen each other for a few days. And he brought over, it looked like he had some like arts and crafts or shit to do. So he tells her that he thought that they could paint. And she was like, where? He was like, here. I said, in her White House? Stasha has white carpet. And you brought black paint? Ooh, I know she was stressed. But she didn't want to show it on camera. So they go up. They have these little canvases. And they're painting. Stasha paints hers all black. I said, oh, that should have been the first indicator on her mood. Nate paints an X. And she was like, oh, you drew an X. He said, these are Band-Aids. I said, I know you fucking lying. Band-Aids? You drew an X, Nate. That was an X. He said he drew Band-Aids because they need healing. I said, okay. Stasha drew her black with some waves and said that it was the Black Sea. I said, well, alrighty then. So they get into this conversation about how Nate is saying that he wants to work on things with Stasha. He has hope for them. He wants to be with her. He said, but he wants to slow down and not go back to 100%. Now, if I felt Stasha in that moment, that would piss me off too. Because you can't say, well, we're married. They got rings on. So you can't say, yeah, I want us to work, but I don't want to go back to 100%. You can't say that because that doesn't make sense. So he's telling her that he doesn't want to constantly talk about the future or plan for the future. He wants to live in the moment. Now, on one hand, yes, nobody, like if you constantly look towards the future, life is going to pass you by. But on the other hand, you have to at least want to talk and discuss the future in a marriage and in a relationship. So Stasha's not wrong about that. But then it comes down to, is every time they sit down, are they talking about the future or are they enjoying some moments? Or is it that they have all these fun moments and they're enjoying them, but the one time that Stasha wants to talk about the future, Nate doesn't want to? And I'm actually willing to believe it's that. I am. I know y'all gonna say you're on Stasha's side. I'm actually not. I'm not on anybody's side because I don't think they should be together. I think they're bad for each other because their visions in life aren't aligning. They're going parallel by each other. Their visions in life are not aligning. But I do think that I feel like they have these moments and Stasha is bending more. I mean, Stasha's clearly bending more towards him that she's living in a damn studio instead of her house. But I feel like they might be having these, carefree moments and whatever. But when Stasha wants to be serious and talk about the future, Nate just doesn't want to, mainly because Nate is not ready for marriage. He's just not. Nate will probably be a great boyfriend, but this type of marriage setting is not the best for him. So Stasha was like, okay, so you don't want to plan for the future. So Nate is like, I feel like Nate says in his confessional, he feels like she's being immature and that she is insecure and doesn't feel his love. It's hard to feel your love when you're telling somebody to leave, but then 2 weeks later, okay, I want to be back in this with you, but not 100%. Like, it's confusing. So Stasha's putting way too much pressure, but I think Nate is gaslighting her too. I honestly do. I don't think Nate is in this 100%. I just don't. So he tells her that he wants to commit to being there, she would say, you want to commit to being back here full time? And he would say, well, I want to take it day by day. And I'm like, I can't be the only, like, I was just as confused as Stasha was in that moment. Just as confused. So then she was like, but that's not you committing to be in 100%. So then he was like, are you making me comfortable right now? Are you making me comfortable right now? And I feel like because of Stasha's overbearing nature, everybody is kind of missing the part where he is playing with her as well. They both are wrong in this situation, but people, like, it's going over people's heads that Nate is playing with her too. So then Nate keeps breaking the fourth wall and talking to production, like he's looking right in the camera with this. See, this is the problem with her. This is the problem with her. Nate is doing everything he can to make Stasha look like the bad guy. Stasha's trying to make Nate look like the problem too, but hers is not as brazen as the way Nate was in this scene. So Nate, one of the producers come in, and Nate tells her that he will commit to be there full time when she believes that he's committed to the marriage and not just the relationship. And I just kind of feel like, how is she supposed to believe that you are in this for a marriage when you don't want to be and commit to her full time? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. So Nathan goes on to say that him being there is showing that he's committed. Stasha said, well, you're here because we had to film today. You haven't been here any of the other days prior to this. I believe that. So then Nate was like, well, that's kind of hurtful. And I just feel like I can't, but I would have been just as frustrated with her if that's his response back to everything. So then she reluctantly was like, you're here because you want to fight for the marriage. I don't know if this scene was scripted and they're doing perfectly fine. According to Reddit, they are separated now, and so are Lindy and Miguel. But who knows? But this entire scene was so unnecessarily confusing. I would have been so over it if I was both of them. But especially if I was Stasha. Because I just feel like the entire thing, like, it was stupid to me. The way that he was acting about everything was absolutely stupid. So then we have Ben and Morgan. Pointless scene. They're out doing Muay Thai. She feels like Ben needs to get a backbone. I said, oh, well, the little bit of backbone he had, you chopped off at the neck, didn't you? She feels like this could be the beginning of his alpha season. I said, okay, girl. So, you know what? They probably could have gotten along and maybe lasted a little longer if she would have just relaxed and maybe tried this now. You know what? I'm in a bad space, Ben. Let's go do something that, will help me get out some aggression. Let's go work out. Let's go do something like that. They probably could have worked. So they talk about Justin coming to the weekend. They have new jobs, promotions, Ben's in therapy, yada, yada, yada. Morgan says she's not in the mindset to date. You weren't ready to get married either, but you did, so you might as well go ahead and date. Stasha set up a pole dancing class for her, Alexis, and Kristen. Stasha don't have no rhythm. Kristen said this was more complicated than it needed to be for her. Alexis butchered her way through it, but we made it through, okay? We tried, y'all. We tried. So they tell Stasha that they are going on to a double date. Kristen thinks that Alexis is going to be a good wing woman for her, and she will keep her grounded and keep her from asking a bunch of stupid-ass questions like, when would you want to be married? So Alexis is going out with a friend that her friend set her up with. Kristen is going out with a guy that she matched on the dating app before, kind of ignoring him when she got picked to be on the show. Stasha tells them about her and Nate. She's not sure what's going to happen. She said it's been rough since the reunion, so the past 2 weeks have been kind of chaotic where they get into an argument. Nate says some things that are very hurtful to her. Then he wants to apologize later. But by that time, the damage is done. It's the words have already been spoken, basically. She said that Nate did come back to the house. They are back to doing the 2 weeks at her house, 2 weeks at his house. I just think that shit is stupid. I think that's absolutely stupid. Stasha rent out your house, make it an Airbnb or whatever, and then Nate sublet your apartment. Y'all go get a mutual neutral space, and if it doesn't work then it's just not gonna work. But this whole I want to live in the city, like that's childish. That's childish. So she thinks the relationship is salvageable. She does not want to give up on them just yet. I don't think it's gonna work with him. I just don't. We see Mitch out to dinner with his or lunch with his brother and his sister-in-law. They both wear the same beauty supply store sandals. Okay, maybe it was a 2-for-1. They talk about the reunion. Mitch's sister-in-law tells him, now you can see how you act. You can see your shortcomings and make the necessary changes. Mitch is saying that, yes, now he can see what his blinders are. He can see how he behaves. He said, but this was very traumatizing and he wants to move forward. Traumatizing for who? How is this traumatizing for you? Because you got to see yourself. You weren't traumatized though, Mitch. Not until the end when Kristen tried to basically bully you into being with her again in the future. But this wasn't traumatizing for you. Alexis and Kristen went on this double date. Don't care. Don't care. That was a crafted made up scene that we didn't need to see. Nate and Stasha, they're cooking at his apartment. Stasha said they're back on good terms. Just that quick, huh? All right. So they both agree that they're both just very stubborn. And once they recognize their blind spots within themselves and within the marriage, they will move forward. They talk about Justin coming to Kristen's going away party. Nate asks for some advice. Stasha said very simple. Keep your cool and walk away. Don't engage with him. It's very simple. Justin and Alexis meet up in the park. Alexis, I guess, wanted to meet up with Justin. She wants to apologize. Not apologize. She wants to talk. Justin comes up. When she walks up, he moves to stand away from her. I said, I see what time he on. So she starts to talk and he cuts her off and was like, you let the world think I couldn't get it up, but it's cool because you just didn't want to embarrass yourself. And she was like, what? He tells her to shut up and let him talk, then goes on to say he could not get an erection because her pH balance was off. Alexis said that all I said was that it did not manifest. She said, I didn't say you couldn't manifest. I just said that it didn't manifest. Justin calls her a narcissist, drops the mic on the ground, and walks away. Look at this, though. Justin is the type of person who we know that when he gets mad, he tries to say stuff to embarrass you. Right? So Nate was gay, made a pass at him. Alexis, her pH balance was off. I don't believe that. I don't. I think Justin wanted to have a moment. Justin felt embarrassed that Alexis alluded to that on the after show. So he said, I'm going to say the worst possible thing I can think of in my childish mind. And I'm going to say your pH balance was off. And then I'm going to walk away in a tizzy. Because Justin all but ran away from her. So Alexis calls Kristen, tells her that, things didn't go the way that they want to. He's running away like he always does. I just feel like Justin has not learned anything. Justin hasn't learned anything about himself. Justin has shown no growth. Even if Justin is watching these episodes, he has literally not shown any signs of growth whatsoever. Justin is by no means the villain of this season, but he's definitely not the victim or a saint either. He's not. He is not. Justin is just as bad and guilty of doing a lot of things as Alexis is too. Alexis' behavior was more brazen, but Justin is very manipulative, as I have said, because Justin weaponizes his tears and Justin lashes out like a little kid. You hurt me, so I'm going to think of whatever I can say back to hurt you back. That's childish. That's absolutely childish to do. And then to turn around and run away so she can't even respond. She didn't even come in on that type of, whatever. So we get to Kristen's party. So the ladies all meet up at first. Stasha's not there, but they're all talking about how life has been for them. Morgan says she's traveling. She's going to buy a condo in San Diego. Girl, we really don't care. Lindy said they're thinking of buying a house together. I said, no, you're thinking of buying a house with Miguel. Alexis talks about her and Kristen's double date. Alexis brings up meeting with Justin. She said it was typical Alexis and Justin type of things where no one can confront Justin because he lashes out. We have seen that. Justin does not know how to take questions directed towards him. It's immaturity. She said that she does want to apologize if his feelings were hurt from the after party. So she wants to meet up with him so that she can apologize. They tell her she doesn't need to. Let her apologize if she wants to. So everybody's coming in slowly but surely. Everybody's coming in with a good attitude. Everybody's excited to see everybody. Mitch comes in. And Kristen says, look, Luna, Daddy's here. I said, Kristen, what the fuck? So then Kristen is like offended, upset, jealous that Mitch is talking to Luna, who was happy to see him, but not paying attention to him. I do admit Mitch could have said, hi, Kristen, but it wasn't all this. So Kristen, like, why do you still like this dirty man? Why? So Justin comes in and the entire mood drops. He let all the air out of the room. So Justin, the entire time, is there walking around. He's being very creepy. Like, every time you see, like, they're in a scene, you see his creepy ass walking behind somebody. We see him walking in the back of everybody's scene, walking through the windows. It was too much. It was way too much. So Justin is being kind of withdrawn into himself. We don't see him interacting with a lot of people whatsoever. So Stasha is talking to the ladies. Stasha's talking to the ladies, Kristen and Alexis, about is it weird being around Justin and Mitch. Kristen was like, nope, it's good for us. I'm looking forward to hanging out with them later. I can't. Like, Kristen, tuck your thirst in. So then we get a scene with Mitch and Kristen. Mitch gives her a present for, birthday / going away. Kristen gets the card. She's like, should I read the card out loud? Yeah, girl, read the card out loud. She was like, dear Kristen. I can't do it. You do it. I said, girl, you choked up over dear Kristen? Mitch reads the card that just says that, he's thankful for the times they spent together. He's proud of her. Good luck in your new life. That's basically all it said. That is it. That is the gist of it. They care about each other, yada, yada, yada. Go your separate ways. Let this be closure. So then everybody's hanging out at this boring ass going away party for Kristen. And Justin comes over. Before that, Alexis comes up to Justin, who has been very withdrawn from the group, apparently drunk. He looked drunk. He sounded drunk. He walked around with this big ass jug of water. Is it water or is it like vodka or gin? So they go in the hallway to talk. She was like, how are you doing? He said he's fine, just a little bit drunk. So she asked him, so is this not a good time to talk? He's like, no, it's perfectly fine. Alrighty. So she apologizes and says for whatever she said on the after show that might have been hurtful towards him. She said that, I always have your back. I'm always looking out for you. He wants to agree to disagree. He feels that she's not always trying to be hurtful, but sometimes it happens. She said that she was trying to be tactful, but apparently it didn't happen that way, which it didn't, girl. It was said, it's done, move on. So she was like, do you have anything that you want to say back to me? He said, I'm listening and processing everything you're saying. So she's waiting for an apology before she decides to ultimately just walk away. Alexis wants an apology for you telling everybody that her pH balance was off. You're not going to get that because Justin is childish, okay? He's not going to apologize to you. So when she walks away, Justin is laughing, but then he said that he's working on being a better man. If you were working on being a better man, Justin, you would have apologized, though. That's the thing. Like, I feel like Justin just says what people want to hear. If you're working on being a better man, right, you would have just been like, you know what, I'm sorry for everything that happened between us as well. We can go our separate ways, and we can be done with it. We can be done. If Alyssa and Chris, if I'm a good person, can do that last season, then like I just feel like Justin is just being childish this entire Where Are They Now? And none of this is putting you in a better light. None of this is making you look like triumphant at the end of the day. Not to me, at least. So Justin is, now that he's good and drunk, he wants to start an apology tour. That shit was fake. So he goes and talks to Nate. Tells Nate he's apologizing for what happened at the reunion and for insinuating that he made a pass at him. He said he acted off of emotion. Duh. He then said that he should have come to him man to man. Nate said that it's fucked up because he never said anything bad about Justin. You never said anything good about Justin either. But Nate did not talk cash shit about you directly. Nathan apologizes for lashing out. He said that he was going through some things himself and just kind of took it out on Justin. In the confessional, Nate was like, the apology is cool, but the damage has already been done. And, they will just never be more than just cordial probably at this point. So Justin drunkenly goes into the group and it's like, yeah, I'm learning from myself. I'm learning. And I want to apologize. Kristen, I called you fake. Ben I'm sorry for everything, Ben. Sorry for everything. Morgan, I'm sorry. Lindy, I'm sorry that you think I'm manipulative and vindictive. I'm not. Stash, I'm sorry for disrespecting your husband. And then that's just kind of how he leaves it. Does not apologize to Alexis, who looks very salty on the couch that she didn't get an apology. You knew that wasn't coming because he didn't apologize to you in the hallway. Nonetheless, Justin's apologies were fake. If you have to wait to apologize, your apologies are fake, my guy. They were fake. They were fake. I don't know what made Justin decide to drunkenly apologize, but none of those were very real. And you can tell by the way everybody was kind of looking at him and reacting to him that nobody really soaked it in or thought they were genuine anyways. So the next morning, or later that night actually, Kristen and Alexis are talking or taking off their makeup in the bathroom. Kristen asks Alexis if she should have given this another chance with Mitch with the cameras off. I said, Kristen, get the fuck off my TV. I don't want to see nothing else about Kristen, y'all. Don't put her on nothing else. So Alexis was like, don't let one good weekend overshadow everything else that happened. Don't be fooled by that. The next morning, everybody leaves and goes back. We get final words and parting of wisdom. Justin swears he's working on himself, and I'm a work in progress. Justin, go get some help. Go get some help. Go get some therapy and move on. But that is the end of San Diego. Sick of this show. All right, y'all. Let's hop in the comments down below and we can talk about everything that happened on tonight's episode. If I missed anything, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and thumbs up the video. Catch you guys next season.